So what has that been like? Because obviously I saw you're like on vlogs with pretty big name creators. Like you're in like I think it was a Mike Thurston vlog or a Luke Belmar vlog.
Yeah.
And what is your life like now? I mean, you pretty much in 2 or 3 years as a young 20-year-old have put yourself in a position that very few people ever find themselves in. What is life like for you because of that?
So this is actually kind of gets towards a little bit more about my personal background, but I actually had a conversation with this about just living life, especially now, with someone that he's not in crypto, but he knows a lot of crypto people that made it really big. And they're just like clubbing, they're partying, they're like doing lines off the tables in clubs, and they're just like generally living a very degenerate sort of life. But for me, I don't own any cars or houses necessarily or any fancy sort of stuff. I never spent money on anything in particular. My parents were Malaysian immigrants. They came here with pretty much nothing. And we grew up in Asian households where we would shop at 3 different places to get like the best like toiletries or various things. So we never spent that much money on anything. And obviously, I mean, I'm grateful for them because my dad eventually got, in a executive position at various companies. So he did quite well financially eventually. But the sort of Asian immigrant mentality was that we save money. So the way that I lived was sort of opposite of that, where I was, taking some risks, investing pretty heavily and stuff. But that mentality of not approaching life with any sort of materialistic, greed or anything like that has sort of stuck out, where I realized that over the course of my life where I did experience a lot of hardship, like medically. I was in the hospital for like most of my early teens. And that was actually right around the time when I got into college. So I got accepted
into
to college
as an early teen?
Yeah, I was 13 years old when I was accepted to the University of Washington.
That's crazy.
And it was through an early entrance program. So they have this early entrance program called the Transition School, where they accept 15 kids from around the world into this sort of rigorous preparatory program where you're basically in a classroom and just it's 1 year where you're just learning all of the necessary academic stuff in order to become an elite college student. And they wanted these kids to be the top of the top at, because for most of these kids, they could have been accepted anywhere to like Harvard, Stanford, anywhere, but they're going to the University of Washington early to basically get an accelerated path. And I actually have an older sister. She's a doctor now. She's a head and neck surgeon, but she was accepted to this program as well 2 years before me, which is also kind of rare to see siblings doing this. But that was a sort of expectation for me as well, that I wanted to do this. And I think in hindsight, it wasn't the best idea because I think I needed more time to explore some of my interests. I really love doing sports and music. But this is a big part of my background was that like I was in college very early and had to endure a lot of, social change that happened because of that, and learned a lot of hard lessons as to like figuring out how to fit in, how to manage a lot of the emotions that come with that, especially when I was in college. My lungs collapsed. That was part of the thing where I almost died multiple times because my lungs collapsed randomly, and it's called a spontaneous pneumothorax, and I had to get many, many surgeries over the course of like 2 or 3 years. And there was a time when like my oxygen literally went to zero. Like I thought my mom, I mean, I wasn't conscious, but like my mom thought I wasn't going to make it. Like she was watching me after a surgery and she saw my oxygen go to zero, and she was like telling a nurse like, oh my God, like what's happening? And then they called the code blue, and the nurse literally said, oh shit. And they called all of the doctors and nurses to come rushing in for me. There was a period of time at that time where I weighed like 105 pounds at that time, and I was really skinny. I was not going to make it. But that taught a lot to me about what really matters in life, as well as how to, life isn't what happens to you. It's like how you react and how you come back from what happens to you. And I think that really resonated a lot with me, where I take that approach with trading as well, where it's completely objective. No matter whatever is going on in the markets, if it's good or bad, I try to approach the mentality is that I can control everything that I can control. And what I can't control is my emotions, my system, my mindset, everything that comes with it. So nowadays, when it comes to life in general, I just try to approach it from the idea that I'm just grateful for what I have. I mean, I'm grateful for my health, as cheesy as that sounds. Like, there was a time when I thought I would never leave the hospital. So I'm just glad to be experiencing life as much as possible and trying to build community and try to put as much transparent value as I can possibly, whether it's from, my trading systems, whether it's from private market stuff, and just trying to, build as much community through like hosting events and meeting people and having great experiences as possible. So it's not as much like materialism as it is just like experiencing life. Because I know that like materialism won't make me happy because I, at many points in my life was not happy, even if I, was wealthy. So